It's working just fine. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Shredding Social. I've got the incredible, that's a good word, incredibly talented, devilishly handsome. Look at his new background, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Joe Wilson is in the house. And of course, a belated happy birthday to Joe. You know,
Thank you,
1 year
Josh.
older and wise. Well, he's 1 year older. We'll go with that at least, if nothing else. But Joe, first and foremost, excited to have it. We missed last week because you were out on your birthday. You were traversing the country from speaking at different events to enjoying time with family. How are your travels and how's it being back?
Hey, you know what? It's always good to travel, but it's even better to come home. That's how I always say it. It's great. Got to spend an awesome time at the Michigan Mortgage Lenders Association annual lending conference, longest conference name, but a very good one. And those Michigan guys know how to throw a conference and a party, and there were a lot of good people there. It was really fun.
Dude, I was joking with you. Being from Michigan, born in Michigan, I typically don't say that because I always say I'm from Utah because I'm a Utah dude. But I'll tell you what, those Michigan people, they know how to throw a good event, really good event. I've been to the same event before. They do a great job, and that's just it. You and I love to continue to travel. Like you said, I love traveling as well. It's always amazing being home. But when we're out and about, why we do this show, why we do Shredding Socials every Tuesdays, because we're learning, we're hearing, we're having discussions. You and I are in the trenches of social media. We're understanding what's working, what's not working. And recently, why we talked about Facebook is back, baby, it's coming back. You're all excited for this because really, we've talked about so many different influencers, so many different, other people who have brands much larger than yours and I's or yours and mine. But at the same time, the mortgage and real estate industry is very niche. It's very different. It's much slower than the rest of the world, but we've been hearing a lot of talk. I've even said it that Meta was taking over Facebook. That was the big announcement, but Facebook is actually transitioning back to Facebook, which sounds weird. It's like, wait a minute, was Meta kind of like a distraction? Is Facebook still prevalent? But what have you heard on Facebook? Is Facebook still relevant? Is it coming back? Is it going to be something that we should be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is Meta being a mega meta organization is constantly pushing new things, testing new theories, and shifting their own specific focus on where they want to drive their product and your adoption of it. Right.
Yep.
And right now, I mean, I just got an email. We're a developer, a partner of Meta where we obviously integrate there, so we get a lot of like really interesting communications from Meta. And this next week, if you're interested, I'll put this link in this in the comments here on LinkedIn and others on Facebook as well about the Meta developer conference and not conference, but they're dropping short form video on Facebook, not on Instagram, but on Facebook all next week.
Yeah.
And they're going to be talking about all the new features and functionality that they're dropping. And so just like over the last 6 to 12 months where we've seen a lot of interest from Meta and on Instagram and Reels, we're seeing a shift in their overall corporate perspective and their focus back to Facebook and into their short form video, which is essentially Reels, but on Instagram. So it'd be really interesting to see what they're all about next week, but it is not something to sleep on at all right now.
No, and this is why I wanted to have this conversation, because so many of our mortgage and real estate professionals that you and I are in the trenches with all the time, this is what we want to talk about, because there's so much noise about you got to be doing TikToks, you got to be doing Reels, you got to be doing LinkedIn, you got to be doing YouTube Shorts, you got to be doing this, that. Like there's just so much going on, which most of you, like you got to pick your lane for a short time. You got to figure it out, whether it's Reels, whether it's Instagram, whatever channel you choose. But Facebook has always been a truly relevant platform within our industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just where mortgage professionals have been there. They continue to be there. Real estate professionals, same thing. And now with some of these updates, some of these big changes that I'm excited, like you said, we're seeing Facebook start to adopt its own Instagram. People always are like, Instagram is owned by Facebook, but now Facebook's like, wait a second, let's kind of take a little bit of lesson and learn some things that we've learned with Instagram, and let's put them into our own platform.
Yeah, and here's a tactical thing to do today. If you should all be creating Instagram Reels. We all know that. If you're not creating Reels right now, you're missing one of the largest opportunities to have discovery of your content. hands down. There's no better way for you to, I mean, maybe YouTube as well because it's searchable,
Yeah.
but Reels, like realtors are all on Instagram right now, but on Instagram, as you create those Reels, there's a little toggle at the very bottom that says share to Facebook. And if you're not sharing or allowing them to share your content to Facebook, you're missing out big time.
I was
And
gonna
that is,
say,
I think that's what we're gonna see. And honestly, I've had some of my reels take off on Facebook, and a lot of them not take off on Facebook, like have zero.
yep.
But I think that number over the next couple of weeks and months is going to grow dramatically. So make
Bro,
sure you have that setting toggled on.
I'm so glad you mentioned this because this is something that Dal and I were talking about earlier. Like our team was looking at analyzing numbers. Some of our numbers with going over to Facebook have done incredibly well. And then next thing you know, we've got like 2 or 3 views on one. It's like, whoa. So just continue to put it out there. Plus, it's simple. If you're doing reels, it's one button that all you have to do. So now it's going over to Facebook. And I like, again, we talk about this all the time. The pyramid that we're always creating, the pillar content, the micro content, and then the distribution of that content. Like, why would you not distribute it to, like, you've already created it, now put it on that second platform? That is one easy thing. We talk about having distinction between platforms, but when it comes, honestly, Joe, when it's Instagram Reels, when it's the Facebook Shorts or Facebook clip, whatever they're calling it, these short clips as well. Yes, you can use those on both platforms. Can you go do it on LinkedIn? No, not so much. Can you put it on YouTube Shorts? Absolutely. Like 100%. Like there's there's 3 platforms that you can all utilize the same content for. So the biggest thing, Joe, that I really want to hit on today is you and I are constantly with Social Coach and Shred Media. This is what we do. We are in the world of social media all day, every day, understanding the changes. Like you said, both of our companies we're on the developer side as well. We're having conversations with the back ends of these companies. They're giving us sneak peeks of what's going on, and we're going to share them with you guys. We're going to share them before you're probably going to see them. We want to help you be ahead of the curve. Right now, more than ever, you need to have attention. You need to have more eyeballs. You need to be out on these social platforms, and we're going to share it with you.
Yeah, and I think, you know, and we talked about this before we got on, but I think this is an important thing to mention too, is, you know, we're not telling you to change your entire strategy to just like forget everything else and only focus on Facebook. Well, all we're saying is that we're seeing where the trends are going, and we're saying this is something to pay attention to, and something to be thinking and plan as you're going into your next quarter planning. You know, from a content strategy, whether that's you as an individual loan officer, or you know, we have a lot of marketers in the mortgage industry that watch this show as well. You know, think about where you're placing your content and your content distribution strategy, and make sure you're not leaving Facebook out. I mean, we hear that, and I say this because a lot of times you hear like some mega influencers talk about, oh, here's the newest thing you need to go all in on and forget everything else. This is not what we're saying. I mean, I don't think Josh, you would ever say that. I know I would never say it. I mean, because we've heard before, you know, like, you know, oh, you have to go all on a Clubhouse. You have to go on Alexa briefings. Like, no.
Bro.
But like, think about in terms of like, you know, what content you want to put out, where you want it to go out. But more importantly, where are your ideal prospective referral sources and clients? Where are they spending their time today, and where are you thinking they're going to be spending their time in the future? And
100%.
be on those platforms as well as the other ones that are the old standbys.
That is what I want to like leave this on, is like, and you and I started with this because I heard Gary Vaynerchuk. I was on a call yesterday with a bunch of bigger influencers than me. They're like, oh, they're all going back to Facebook. We have to take all those with a grain of salt, because number one, they're all marketers as well. They're utilizing it a little bit differently than all of us are going to. But what you just said, Joe, everybody go back, rewind that last 30 seconds of what Joe said, because right there, you have to know where your audience is. And many of you, Instagram and Facebook, like, it's there. That is it. Or YouTube, even YouTube, or LinkedIn. Like, those 4 are still very, very prevalent. If you want to go into the TikTok world, I still think don't get me wrong, don't sleep on TikTok. I think it's big. I think there's tons of opportunity there. But most of you know where your audience is, know where your ideal client is, and just find them there. Start creating content there, and then, you know, then you can expand. But that's it, Joe. Like, it really is that simple.
Yeah. And honestly, like, if you think that your clients and your referral partners are not on social media, I mean, if more than likely, if you've gotten to this point in the conversation, you have already bought into this. But I did hear a really interesting statistic the other day, and maybe we can talk more about this next week, Josh.
Ooh.
But 91% of realtors, and this is straight from the National Association of Realtors, 91% of real estate agents are on social media to find clients.
I'm sure that's got to be close.
91%, dude. That's insanity. So if
Funny-
you don't think that realtors are out there and participating just as you are, you're dead wrong. And that should be your number one target on social media is those agents.
Bingo. Tristan Ahumada, if you guys know him, he literally had a clip the other day on Instagram talking about what you just said. So we should dive into that because that is 100%. Realtors are out there right now. And right now with the market and the way it's shifting, they're looking for opportunities. So opportunities to collaborate on social. Bro, ladies and gentlemen, that is a piece right in there. We're going to tease it for next week. That is going to be we'll discuss more about that next week. But there's so much potential. There's so much opportunity. Your clients are there. The people are there. The eyeballs are there. You just have to be willing to go capture it. Go get after it. So that's it.
Let's leave it on
that's it, guys. Perfect. As always, we're going to be here every Tuesday. Well, most Tuesdays, unless we're out traversing the globe or making something happen. But we always try to bring you the most value that we absolutely can. So if you have any questions for Joe or myself, send us a message, send us a direct message, or reach out to us. Yeah, we love helping any way they can. Joe, you're the man. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you guys all next week. See ya.